looking at calendar events because they can provide high probability trading opportunities. Here was one on the Thursday, February the 13th, when we had the surprise beat in UK GDP data. The reason this was in particular focus is because the Bank of England has recently made a surprise revelation with a very hawkish member, Catherine Mann, voting suddenly for 50 basis point rate cut versus the 25 basis point cut that Bank of England took in their prior central bank meeting. So what we were looking for here, the best opportunity was if this was a big miss across the board for further pound selling. However, with sentiment being so weak, the pound being a stretch in the CFTC position to the downside, if we saw something surprising to the upside, that could give a little boost to the pound. And we'd also been seeing the dollar weak at the time, so pound dollar upside made a lot of sense. And this was in the live risk event. I went long the pound in the futures market. Now, for me personally, this trade was knocked out of break even. I was looking for it to move higher from this level and to continue its way up. I wasn't interested if it came back down underneath this major long-term trend line. So I exited at break even. It was a scratch trade for me. However, you can see that the pound did continue to find dip buys through the rest of the day. Now, this would have been very tricky to trade because of the US data that was coming out at the same time, later on in the session. So it'd be a very difficult trade to have actually managed with, and you may have been hit with a stop, may have been hit just into that 2485 region. However, you can still see that even though it wasn't the very, very, very best, it still was an opportunity, and one that I was able to at least get out for break even. But you can see, look, the way the pound moved higher on that relief. A lot of that is the dollar weakness story as well. But this is why we're looking at these high probability trading events, because you might say, oh, we've got a bit fortunate with the dollar weakness, but actually, you've got to be in the right place at the right time to benefit from, a good fortune, as it were. So that was the February the 13th opportunity we had this month with the UK GDP data. On to the next.